Hello and welcome to this little tutorial. I want to show you how to edit the surface of any shape. We hit create thing, we drag in any base shape, and now we context laser that shape, and you can see a tweezer tool appearing here. If you grab it, you will see a point appear on the surface, and then when you hold the tweezer, you can stretch out that point into any direction. Take another point, stretch it. As long as you hold the tweezer tool, you got a couple of options on the points dialog, for example show edges, and this will better illustrate where the triangles and the points are. So technically this is called a mesh, and these are called vertices, vertex points, and they always make up for triangles on the surface. Let me disable that again. Then you have two options. One is snap position, and when you click this and drag it out like this, you can see it's perfectly aligning to the axis of the object. Doesn't matter how the object is rotated, the axis will always be sort of perfectly aligned to any direction. And then we got snap to grid, and that means we have these mini snap dots where if you let go the point snaps to. This is actually very helpful, for example if you want to have a very strict geometry or maybe symmetry, and this will then helps you better align your shape. There's something else here called smoothing, and this will determine how curved the overlap between these triangles will feel. It's currently set to 0. It's the default for the cube. Some other shapes have other defaults. And now we just push it to the right, and you can see it feels more round now already. It could be useful if you create organic structures like a face, for example. And we can set it up to 180. But I will go back to 0 for now. Then we got a reset button here. Hitting it and confirming it will just reset back the shape to its original mesh. And there's a detail button, and this allows you to create more points on some shapes like the cube. For example, just have 2 here now, but maybe we want to adjust some parts in the middle, and we can click on detail and click any shape, maybe this one, and we confirm because it will reset the mesh. And now you can see we have a whole lot more points than before, and that can help us make the shape we want. Most of the shapes don't have this feature of subdividing the surface. For example, this one, you won't see any detail button here, so you can't specifically add points. It's only available at the moment for the cube, as well as this little one-sided flat thing, which is a quad. And if we go to detail on it, we can then subdivide, and we get more points here. Oh, a small information on surfaces which point inwards. For example, right now everything is outwards pointing, and this means it's a convex shape. Convex means outwards, but maybe we decide to move these points to the inside. And now what happens if I touch here? I still feel the collision right here because the collision shape is still outwards or convex, but we want it to be inwards or hollow or concave, and to do that we can click hollow collision here. As soon as I click this, I will only feel the collision where it should be, right here. And depending on the shape you picked, this is already on by default. For example, let's try with this shape. We context laser, and you can see it's already on. But for example this one, it's off by default. So you can basically override the default setting. In this case, take it off, and now I would be able to touch the shape right in the middle. Please note that once you save your object, these meshes will actually be combined, and that creates a new collision shape altogether. In this case, it's always concave. Now there's some very high polygon shapes, very high vertices shapes, which do not support a very precise collision box because that would make things quite laggy. And I believe one of those shapes is this sphere. Actually, I think it's this one. That's the high poly sphere. Now, let me show you. Show edges is on, and you can see there's a huge amount of points here. And in fact, if we turn around the dialog, we can see there's 4,300 something points on that sphere. So there will be a small note here. The collision is based on the original shape. Meaning, if I drag this out here now, I can do that, but I won't be able later to touch here. I will still only be able to touch where the original sphere collision was. And again, that's just to make things fast in the area, because if we were to calculate such fine-grained collision shape for all kinds of spheres that might be in the area or on a person's body, then the frame rate would go down. Yeah, that about covers it, and I will see what you're all creating with it, and I will also see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye!